Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to ModXtra Games and Collectibles, the place where you get some of the GI Joe Classified series news some of the time when I eventually get around to it. And of course, that means it's time for another GI Joe Classified series update here on the channel. And one of the big main talking points in the world of GI Joe Classified series fandom over the last, 10 days, 2 weeks, has been Lenny's announcement that he's leaving Hasbro. I'm sure many of you watching this are familiar with who Lenny is, but if you're not, Lenny's the design director, design manager, head design honcho guy over at GI Joe Classified series. Certainly if you've ever watched a Hasbro Pulse like Fan Friday Classified fan stream, or seen any of the convention backstage streams, or Yojo June, PulseCon, whatever, you'll have seen Lenny's face. It's usually Lenny with his sculptor Tony, and then one of the marketing managers, Emily or BMac, involved. But Lenny was always the kind of core driving force of that kind of public face aspect that they do at Hasbro, where the design teams are kind of seen by the fandom, by the consumer. So he made the post on Instagram announcing his departure, a pretty standard kind of, I'm leaving type of post that we've all seen in our professional lives a bazillion times before, with a little note on there saying, he's got to do what's right for him and his family, and then he's moving over to Boss Fight Studios, which is interesting because also recently, an ex-GI Joe Classified series sculptor, Corey Cantaloupe, posted that he's moving over to Boss Fight Studios as well. I wonder if they're making moves to get into a military line, although to be fair, both Lenny and Corey are on the record in the past talking about a desire to do more kind of weird, wonderful, out there kind of sculpting. They like wacky creatures and aliens and stuff like that, so that actually might be meaningless in the large scheme of things. Lots of people covered it at the time of Lenny's post, lots of speculation out there as to why or why not he might be doing this. I think some people who have a bit of a closer relationship with Lenny from meeting him on the convention circuit and whatnot have got a little bit more of an inside scoop than me, but reading the line, he's got to do what's right for him and his family, has led me to kind of recognise or sense that perhaps it's got something to do with the Hasbro move from Rhode Island up to it's Boston, isn't it, they're going to. So I get the sense it's a practical decision. He's had to make a practical decision, but it is a shame. Many of us in the GI Joe Classified series fandom recognise something of ourselves in Lenny. The way he talks on fan streams, the way he interacts with us at conventions, the knowledge, the experience, the nostalgia that he possesses is similar to our own. And of course, we're always going to be responsive to that. We're going to respond well to someone who we think is taking good stewardship of an IP that we love so much, because he's sharing the same amount of love. You can see it in the way he behaves. And to be fair, despite a couple of missteps along the way, Lenny has given us some good design stewardship over the line. I mean, of course, there's going to be kind of some polarizing opinions around some decisions that they're making, but largely speaking, particularly when you compare it to the other Hasbro lines, the other kind of action brands, we see something of ourselves in Lenny. We see something of what we want and desire in the way he approaches it and what he produces that we were highly responsive towards. And therefore, a lot of the coverage at the time is rightfully recognising that this is a sad loss for Hasbro. It's a sad loss for us as the fans of the GI Joe Classified series line. We're all wishing him the best and going to be watching with interest what he produces over at Boss Fight Studio. Now, there's lots of other conversation that's been floating around. Does this mean the end of the line? Because without Lenny kind of steering the ship, does that mean we're going to get some, corporate head popped in place there? What kind of fresh thinking might a new person in that role bring? Or would it be backward thinking? And it's all speculation. We don't know at this point. I've certainly seen teams, integral members of teams leave and someone else has come back in and they've kind of brought a fresh breeze into that team. And it's been for the better. I've equally seen it happen for the worse. So, I'm just going to reserve judgment on that. But what then happened was BMac, who is the marketing manager that works very closely with Lenny over at Hasbro, made an Instagram post just the other day. Lots of text in there. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but I'll leave it on screen for a little while now while I talk about it. But generally expressing, he's probably picked up through the socials and round and about. They're quite plugged into, content around their brand. Some of the, I don't know what the word is, like concern around Lenny's departure, and therefore decided to make this post and sort of explain that, he's just as passionate about the brand. GI Joe's his thing too, just like it was for Lenny's. Obviously wishing Lenny the best and thanking him for his friendship as not only a colleague, but also as someone he's grown to, become friends with over time. And that's all fine and everything. That makes reference to the fact that him and Tony are locked in. Tony being another member of the design team we see quite often on the kind of public-facing side of the GI Joe Classified series stuff. And then went on to drop a couple of little cheeky teases, which brings us to the more kind of the next sort of set of newsy items here, because he mentions that Yo-Jo June's going to be big. They've got the item of the year coming up. Then he name drops Grand Slam. And then expresses how we're bringing him to life, ? Interesting to see. You'll have to tune in to find out in Yo-Jo June. So lots of interesting stuff there. Lots of interesting stuff. The least of which is the effort to offer reassurance that Lenny's departure is not going to throw things completely to whack with the line. In their defense, I think BMac, I think Tony, and I think, in the wider picture who we see around this line a lot, Emily, are all suitably passionate and energized and up for it when it comes to GI Joe Classified series. I think Lenny kind of possessed some of the deeper kind of knowledge, but they don't leave me in doubt that that part of ourselves that we're seeing in the people involved in the line is going to be lacking. I think just not to be too critical, but frankly, BMac. And to a lesser extent, Tony, they just don't quite have the on-screen personality and the energy that kind of comes through. Tony's got a bit of something going on, but BMac's just not quite as engaging, I think, which is also a part of the narrative here. So let's hone in first and foremost on the phrase item of the year. What could that be, folks? I mean, to name something as the item of the year coming in Yo-Jo June would have to be a highly sought after, often spoken about character or vehicle missing from the line that we as the fan base have been calling out for. I can't see I mean, unless it's something really left field, but it's really mind-blowingly good, which could also be the case. We can't rule that out. But pop your guesses in the comments down below. I'd have to say it's got to be one of the big three that we as a fan base have been asking for a long, long time. Globulus to round out the kind of core Cobra La offering that they've been building on for a little while now. The Thunder Machine, of course, some representation. Maybe it's going to be like the Vamp and a off-the-shelf vehicle with Thrasher in it, perhaps. Something like that, which I think would be a popular move on their part. Although I wonder what the price would be. And of course, the Ice Cream Trooper, which everybody wants. But no, Flash, probably Flash. Well, I can't see Flash being named as the item of the year. I mean, I know he's really, really wanted. I'm always thinking of you, Mark. Always thinking of you. But Globulus, Thunder Machine, I'd probably throw my bet down on one of them pair for item of the year. But then, of course, he name drops, adds Grand Slam to the name only list. With that little note that I referenced before, but how are we going to bring him to life, which I think is an interesting note. So, of course, Grand Slam is known to have been packaged with the HAL, the big laser cannon. In the past, he's been known to be packaged with that trampoline jump pad thing and a jetpack. So that could be on the table. Maybe a 2-pack with Flash in the manner in which they did Short Fuse and... oh, God, I'm so shit with the OG-13. The other OG-13 2-pack. Christ, who was it? I could pause the video and look it up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave my growing adult old man brain on display for all to see. So, yeah, I think Grand Slam's going to come in an interesting way. Like I say, with the HAL, with the jump pad, or a 2-pack with Flash. Or something else. Would there be something else? I don't know. Maybe they've just done something really super exciting and different with the jetpack that he has. But this certainly means that Yo-Jo June is warming up to be quite a big event. If we take a look at the name-only list as it stands at the moment, we've got Iceberg there on the list that I've mentioned before. I think they might be kind of holding back a little bit on just to line him up a bit more with the Snowcat release. Deep Six that the name only revealed, and we've seen a little blurry teaser of Deep Six in the background of the Hydro Viper packaging artwork on the back of the box. The Toxo Viper there as well. Psychout is on the name-only list. They mentioned on the recent fan stream the new Duke, which is going to be rugged and on a mission. And I've speculated about that in another video, but the kind of leading theories are things like a desert camo Duke, the like of which is the kind of later Real American Hero, the sort of 90s comic book design on him. A jungle Duke. In line with the 25th anniversary release, or was it the Collectors Club? An Energon tie-in Duke with the beard and looking a bit more rugged, maybe a stealth version from his own title in the Energon universe. Who knows? Time will tell on that one. Then Grand Slam, obviously, that's now been added to the list, and Mistress Armada, a Devil's Due Iron Grenadier character. So quite a lot on the name-only list, and we can reasonably speculate that some, if not all of this, is going to get boxed off through Yojo June. But of course, we've got some digital renders out there as well that have been revealed to us. Got the Arctic Trooper 3-pack with the Arctic Saw, the Arctic Night Viper, and the Arctic, dude. God, I bet it. It's getting bad, guys. I mean, I might have to get myself checked out. Things just falling out my head. And then we've got the Ninja Force Scarlet and Jabang 2-pack as well. Again, some, if not all of this, might get boxed off for us during Yojo June. And then lastly, we've got the teased items, the mystery piece that we were shown, the crown, the headband, the armband, who knows? I've speculated about that on another video already. And then the Viper, the Stealth Viper and Stealth Pod, and the Snake Eyes and Varmint vehicle 2-pack that was dropped in the cabinet at New York Toy Fair. So with all that we know about already, as well as the item of the year and perhaps some surprises around the presentation of Grand Slam, what that looks and feels like, and just the general undertone in BMac's communications there, that there's yet more exciting stuff for Yojo June, could mean it's going to prove to be a big month. And, it's I'm recording this late April now. We're only best part of a month and a bit away from getting it. So time will tell. I'll probably do some more coverage closer to the time. I like to keep my coverage, hold it back a little bit, because sometimes you end up getting kind of leaks and spoilers coming through in the lead up to that first stream that they do on the Hasbro Pulse channel. Retailers get hold of promotional images to use on their websites, and some leak out, or even Hasbro leaks some stuff out themselves through some of their kind of associated content creators like Full Force and Pixel Dan, I think it was at one point, and what's the dude? Secret Galaxy. Is that the dude? Secret Galaxy? Anyway. So yeah, I like to hold back a little bit in case there's some stuff comes through. But Yojo June, drop your speculation in the comments down below, folks. And there we are, ladies and gents. There's my classified news update for this week. Not that I'm doing them particularly on schedule as a weekly occurrence anyway. Some of the eagle-eyed viewers will also notice that I've recorded this video in 2 sittings, one on my phone with my portable mic and one with my camera here. If anyone's curious, it's because I was using this camera to record some review footage as well earlier today. So I had all my stuff set up in different ways. Not that you give a shit. But I told you anyway, nonetheless. So there we go. Thanks for watching, folks. Again, I'll reiterate, drop your speculations, guesses, etc., in the comments down below. What would you like to see Grand Slam? How would you like him presented? How would you like his package to look? Are you keen for a HAL? Are you keen for a jump pad? Are you keen for a 2-pack with Flash? All that good stuff. Are we going to see all the name-only list? Are we not? Place your bets now. Are we going to get to see Scarlet and Jabang? Will there be more Ninja Force stuff on the horizon? I'm prepping another video on that front about sub-teams and things. Ninja Firefly, anybody? Anybody fancy a Ninja Firefly? No? Night Creeper leader? So yeah, drop all that in the comments down below. But all that remains to say is thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do all the YouTubey things that help me out. Share it with a friend, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, blah, 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 all YouTubey things. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here with me. Hope you have a good day, and come back around for another video sometime soon, right? Take it easy, folks.